Hi everyone, I'm back with my annual Run Disneyland Paris costumes. Honestly, I feel like not that many people care, but I love making them and I feel like I have to show myself my yearly progress on making costumes. For some reason, the 5Ks are the only ones that really take off every year, especially since last year my Mantis costume was featured on the Peruvian article news website and it gained a lot of traction. That was such a bad video. Sorry if I look like a mess right now, I'm still recovering from the last weekend, which was a lot of fun, but just dive right into it. So as you can see, the 5K was Lion King themed. There were no Lion King characters on course, so it was kind of just more like animal based. And to be honest, I'm not that much of a Lion King fan. On the other hand, I really like the show Mickey and the Magician, which is in the Walt Disney Studios park. It's a very successful show, and being one of the background dancers has been kind of on my costume wish list for a while, so this was kind of the perfect opportunity. I chose to be the Ostrich to reduce the amount of incidents on course. So I started off with creating the ostrich head and neck. This was done by creating paper rings from thick paper that's used for painting. The head and the beak was literally just pieces of cardboard, newspaper as a filling, and duct tape for the form, and both the paper rings and the head were covered in paper mache. I wanted to step up my paper mache game, so while I did use a layer of regular newspaper and glue, I wanted to try paper mache clay, of which the recipe you can find down below in the description box. Unfortunately, I had pretty high expectations and this method wasn't really what I thought it would be. I did like it on the bird's head, but the application was hard and I'm not sure if I improved or ruined my 10K costume with this. Anyways, I lastly painted the head white, also giving everything its base color at some point. For fabrics, I started off with what I had, which was a yellow tutu and a white skirt used in previous years. I like to reuse a lot of items to reduce the resources I have to find. In the thrift store, I found the gorgeous drapey fabric that I could use as the upper layer. Thus, I made my first ever circle skirt. I used online calculators to get measurements, and as you can see, I basically freehanded the entire thing. Knowing myself, I didn't make the effort to finish it, but as this part is very easily removable, I may still make an actual skirt out of it. I wanted to use actual, like those faux ostrich feathers, but these were very hard to find and not cheap either. Unfortunately, all secondhand costume pieces are not on display yet for the Dutch carnival, so I bought one black and one white feather boas. So I used the white one for a waistband, while the other one was as kind of bracelets or accessories. I sewed the white feathers on my waist very loosely, as I still had to fit this skirt without ripping anything. I also wanted to use the white skirt for the 10K outfit. So this yellow shirt was also something I bought in Walmart last year, which would work for the top. I found a blue beaded necklace which I spray painted black. The necklace itself was very small, so I sewed it on along the collar. I sewed the necklace on between every bead, but as the necklace would still bounce a lot when I run, I used double-sided tape to tape the shirt to my skin. The sudden ends of the necklace looked kind of awkward, so I used leftover fabric from the skirt to really give this an actual necklace look. Back to the ostrich. So while I first wanted to use paper, I still had some leftover strips of fabric from my 10K costume. So use those to connect all the rings with hot glue. This was the scariest part, as this would have either make or break the costume, even though it is literally the same method as they use in the show. I did reduce the number of rings to have an appropriately sized costume. To attach it on my body, I left on the additional length of strips. It was just about enough for my waist, so I put on adhesive Velcro strips to keep it on my body. This was pure improvisation, honestly. Anyways, the first paint layer was not very pretty, so I took a tube of light skin color paint and did the entire head and neck. This was very tedious, as I also had to paint the insides. I'm happy that the guitar stand was a perfect holder for costume pieces. To hold the bird's head, I used a stick that was left around in this room before I moved in. This was also spray painted black, and then I literally put it through the head with a lot of glue. For the eyes, I used googly eyes, also painted black, and stuck them onto the head with hot glue. These were some leftovers from the Magic Kingdom sign video. Some highlights were added onto the eyes, and the beak was painted yellow. And to finish the head, I gave the bird a smile with a Sharpie and black paint. The majority of the costume was done, so I added some details. For the hair accessories, I used black and red ribbons and adjusted them in size and pattern. With leftover feathers, I created a tail and pinned them onto my shirt with safety pins. And with this textured rope ribbon, I created a second necklace with visible stitches for an adventurous look. I had tons of fun doing my hair in the hotel room, so get ready for some vlog style footage. I first tied my bangs together to avoid losing hair into the ponytail.
Zoals in Tangled Before Ever After. Die tulband. What? That's the costume for next year right there, Lady Tremaine. Het hangt eigenlijk af van security guard. Security guard, langs de andere kant hebben vorig jaar een kasteel binnengelaten. So, why would they not let this in, is it?
From the rest of my hair, I created a very high ponytail.
Met tron, waarbij de lijnen echt oplichten. Dus dat is zo die Splash Mountain foto frame.
Ja.
Daar had ook zo letterlijk zo'n ding mee, zeg maar. Ik vind het best wel schattig, dus zo'n hoge paardenstaart. Leuk. Oké, nu lijkt het er wel bij aan de kant.
You do look a lot like
Bang,
bang into the room.
Oh. Kijk, ik zei dat ik een uur nodig had om überhaupt klaar te zijn.
This tail was then braided and tied. Then I twisted the braid around the bottom part of the braid, creating some height but making sure it's tight. I put in the ribbons, of which the ends are tucked into my hair or using clips.
En zei je me?
And there are a tons of clips and bobby pins in this hairdo, but I was happy how sturdy the structure was even without. Jumping around and just shaking my head ensures the hairdo would stay on during the race. And here's the final fitting. What you see is the base layer. I got these striped tights to represent the legs. It takes some wrangling around to get everything right, but whenever I wear the yellow tutu, I know it's a complicated costume. During the race, I added a running belt and I used the stick in the head as a mount for my camera. The race was tons of fun, but I can't admit it was my favorite during the weekend. I got Coral C, so by the time I got to any character the lines were huge and no one was really worth waiting for.
This is cool.
Thank you.
I saw your pictures on
The Facebook group?
I got several irks about the race etiquette this weekend, but that's a story for another day. The costume was comfortable, although holding something in my head is definitely not the best way to go about any race. It was pretty obvious that I was an ostrich, but recognizing it as a background dancer from a show was not that clear, especially as many of the runners are coming from the American parks. Still, I'm very grateful, and a personal thank you to everyone who said hi. I'm starting to get into the RunDisney community more and more, and even though I've been there since 2016, I haven't really talked to anyone until this year where I just said hi to a lot of people. It's kind of intimidating, but pretty interesting. There's a lot happening, but thanks for watching and hopefully see you next week.
Yes. Thank you.